Hi, I'm Eddie of Eddie's Reef Aquarium. Today's video, I want to do a recap when it comes to the nitrogen cycle, the actual cycling of a reef tank. Because I have a little concern of what I heard from retail stores, two of them that are online outlets. I'm not going to name them, but I do have concerns of what they told me. So I know that I've done a video on the nitrogen cycle and how to do the cycling, but I thought I'd review it and make sure that something is crystal clear. And again, the disclaimer is this is me. This is how I feel that it should be done appropriately when it comes to cycling and actually curing the rocks, which is what I'm doing at the present time. Now, afterwards, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the tank and I'm going to shoot a video and I'm going to show you the progression of the cycling process. As a matter of fact, today as I'm filming, this will be the third week going into the cycling process. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Oh, and by the way, I have some news on things that are coming up when it comes to videos. Okay, first of all, the cycling process, what we call the nitrogen cycle. Okay, to activate the bacteria, which is what I've been using, the Microvector 7 by Brightwell Aquatics, you have to feed it with a sort of ammonia. Now, there's different ways of doing it. I'm going to go by the old way and then the newest technology, or the newest procedure, shall we call it. The old way was to buy some damsel fish and introduce it to your aquarium and then introduce bacteria like this or other at that time that was available. You see, these bacteria, all of these bacteria, to keep them alive and to colonize, they need a form of quote-unquote ammonia. Now, what I use is ammonia chloride by Dr. Tim's Aquatics. I just received a new bottle. I need more of it, so this is the 2 ounce and this is the 4 ounce. Now, the old way, like I started to mention before, is you would introduce some damsels, which are hardy fish, and you would start to feed it. And then between the food, the flake food or whatever food you were giving it, and the fish start to urinate and do poop, then that would create ammonia, thus feeding the bacteria. Now, that was found that it was a situation when it came to the fish. The fish would be stressed a lot because of the ammonia and the nitrites going up, and either they would die, or if they didn't die and they made it through it, they would be affected because of the tremendous stress. So that was taken away as a procedure or a cycling process, shall we call it. Now what we do is a couple of things. We either ghost feed or phantom feeding, which is by adding either flake food or the mysis shrimp frozen cubes. You add it and that will create ammonia because of course the food will rot. Or another process is where you go ahead and you add a dead shrimp. You take the shell out and you cut it in different pieces and you throw it into the tank with the setup that you have has a sock. You go ahead and you put it into the filter sock, and every 3 days you take that one out and you put another piece and you go on to build up the ammonia and of course feeding the bacteria. What I happen to use, which is another method, is like I was saying before, the ammonia chloride. Now, here's the results as of today, the third week. As you notice, the ammonia is still up there. Nitrites are still present, and there's barely no trace, maybe a very little trace of nitrates. Now, what they suggest when it comes to this product, to the ammonia chloride, and in general, is that you must keep a level of 2.0 parts per million of ammonia daily to feed the bacteria. And as you notice, I have more or less that amount and I have a trace amount of nitrites. Okay, now here's what was told to me a week ago. Again, I'm not going to name the two retail online stores, but I was told, A, that since when I add the bacteria, okay, since the ammonia goes down to zero, that's a sign, which is true, that there's living bacteria and is consuming the ammonia. Then I was told not to add any more ammonia. Stop the ammonia, and quote unquote, that means that the tank is cycled. Eddie Nasco, Eddie Reef, I disagree with that. I have nitrites. So the tank is not cycled. Once the nitrites go down to zero, then yes, the tank is cycled. So again, my theory, 20 years in counting in this hobby, the tank is not cycled. Yes, if I stop feeding ammonia chloride in the morning, I will notice that there's zero ammonia, right? Because, of course, the bacteria is eating it. You cannot stop feeding ammonia, because if you do, there's no food for the bacteria and the bacteria will die. And then you are going to erroneously think, wow, my tank cycled. Look, I don't have ammonia and I don't have no nitrites. Let me go ahead and get my first fish. Wrong. If you go ahead and get a fish, that fish will probably die or probably make it. It's a 50-50 call, but if it does, it's going to be stressed and you might lose the fish and lose the money that you spent on that actual fish. Going to the fish part of this, once your tank is cycled, the recommendation is to start with one fish and add another fish the following week and the following week. You know, you keep adding a fish per week until you have reached the population that you want on your actual tank. That is what's recommended. And as you see here, these are the results that I have as of today, like I was saying previously before, when it comes to my third week. So that was theory A that I was told. Theory B on the other store that I called was that to stop with the ammonia. Don't put more ammonia. Keep adding the Microvactor 7, because quote unquote your tank was cycled. Again, I disagree with that. So both theories, both answers that I got from two different places, again, one told me that the tank was cycled because my ammonia goes down by the end of the day. Not considering that the nitrites are up there, so the tank is not cycled. And then again, like I said, the second place told me that congratulations, your tank is cycled, stop everything, no more Microvactor 7, you're good to go, come in and buy fish. Wrong. So that's what I wanted to stress. I have done a video on cycling not too long ago, but since this came up, I thought I would address it, because all of my videos, as I have stressed before, on previous videos, before I shoot a video, I make sure that the information that I'm spilling out is correct. I do research. I also look at YouTube videos on what I'm about to shoot. And then I make sure that my information is correct to the best of my knowledge. But when I heard that, and these two places are very famous, so I said, let me go ahead and reshoot that video in a different format, a different approach, because that information is going out if you ask the specific targeted question. And I wanted to make sure that nobody out there goes out like by what I see here, and you were to talk to these two places, there's no way that I would add a fish, and there's no way that this aquarium, Reef aquarium to be, is actually cycled. So I thought I'd bring that up. Before I go to the tank, I thought I mention things that are coming up. check out and be looking out for unboxing and probably some reviews on the flipper magnet that I got. Here it is. And then also, I got this, I didn't know that Vertex made magnets. This company, of course, comes out of Germany, and you know that the German products are excellent. I'm also going to do an open box on this magnet, and also, open box unboxing, and I'm also going to do a review. And then, of course, sure enough, by Red Sea, I got the refractometer. I'm going to do unboxing, and I'm going to do a demonstration on this also. So now let's go to the tank, and I'm going to talk briefly about the process that's going through, and I'm going to point out some areas on the rocks so you see how we're doing. Okay, and here we are at the tank. If you notice on the rocks, being just the third week, remember these rocks are Pucani rocks, and these were live in one point in time. Of course, they go through a process. They are then, presently, like when you receive them, they are dry, live rocks. They're dry. There's no life. So what I've done in this process so far is a combo. At the same time that I'm doing the cycling, I'm also doing the curing of the rocks, because of course it's a new setup, it's a new tank. So I didn't have to, like, let's say if this tank was already set up and the biological bacteria, everything is go, and I just wanted to add a rock or something, then of course you would cure it separately. Because like you've probably seen videos from BRS where Ryan explains, that you have to check these rocks because there might be like a dead sponge or maybe a little crab in one of these crevices that you cannot see. And you might not be able to see it, but yet if you go ahead and you introduce them in the water, you might see ammonia spikes, no matter if it wasn't the issue here that we're cycling the actual tank and I'm introducing ammonia. So what you see here, the process that I'm doing is actually twofold. I'm actually curing the rocks and cycling the tank. Now, being 3 weeks only, you will notice, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Let me bring the camera up a little bit. Okay, if you notice, the rocks are starting to turn a little brown. And that's, you can see it here and so forth. Although the Pucani rocks are not, they are white because they are dry, they're dead, but they're not as white as before. So let me bring the camera down and pan to the left. So as you notice, they are turning brown, and that's a good sign. What that means is that the first stage, or shall we call it the first type of algae, is going to start, or is actually starting to populate. Now, I want to bring all of you to one notice. If you notice the sand, I still don't have any diatom bloom. Of course, like I've mentioned to all of you, this process is going to be long because it's actually, they are dry rocks. So being that the case is not going to be that quick, I predict 5 weeks, maybe even a little longer. But as you're aware, in this hobby, patience. You must have patience to do things correctly, that in the long run you can benefit from it. So when it comes to colonizing the bacteria, the longer the better. So I'm not in a hurry. I'm just going along and looking out how the tank actually, and shall we call it the rocks, they actually come back to life. This is what you guys are experiencing. This is what you guys are seeing here, and I see it every day. How the rocks are slowly but surely they're coming back to life as they change the color, and as I see that the bacteria starts to grow. So let me pan this and let me bring it, there you go. Let me bring it a little closer. Actually, let me put it here. There you go. So as you see, you know, they are getting a little browner and browner. And that is the process. Okay. So I do want to thank all of you for watching this video. If you haven't so, just go ahead and hit the subscription button. And right next to it, there's a little bell. Hit that, and that's your notification. So if you have your device enabled for notifications, you'll get a notification every time I go ahead and I upload a video. Like I've said before, lately I'm shooting videos like today on Wednesday, and then I do the editing and I look at it over and back and forth Thursdays, and either depending on my schedule, what I have planned, etc., I either upload it on Thursdays or on Fridays. So that's basically it in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I cleared up the thing about cycling, when the tank is actually cycled and when actually you should introduce your first fish. So thank you for watching this video, and like I say at the end of all of my videos, happy reefing. Thank you. Bye-bye.